A man is sitting alone in a small boat when suddenly a violent current pulls him under. The water swallows him whole. He jolts awake in panic, only to realize it was all a dream. His name is Omar. As soon as he wakes up, the children at the orphanage tell him that one of the boys, Tweety, has gone missing. Without hesitation, Omar rushes out to look for him. After searching the city for hours, he finally finds Tweety and brings him home. Because they walk the entire way, they do not arrive until dawn. Omar lives in a small orphanage in Mexico called Casa Hogar, a home specifically for boys. Later that day, his wife Becca asks him to buy some eggs. Omar looks confused because he just bought them yesterday. Becca calmly explains that with so many children, food never lasts long. Omar can only nod and agree. After buying the eggs, Omar sits down with Tweety and gently tells him not to run away again. Tweety is a new child at the orphanage. His mother, who struggled with drug addiction, abandoned him on the streets. Almost every night, Tweety runs away to the last place he was with her, hoping she might come back. Omar then gives him a nail. When he was a child, every time he felt sad, he would write down his wish and nail it to the door. He tells Tweety to try the same thing whenever he feels lost. To cheer him up, Omar decides to take Tweety out for a walk. Suddenly, a police car pulls up. The officers explain that a street kid stole a wristwatch at the dock. They have tried questioning him, but he refuses to speak. The police ask for help, so the boy will return the watch and apologize to its owner. Watching closely, Omar realizes the watch is hidden inside the boy's mouth. Gently, he tells the boy that his wife cooked something delicious today and asks if he wants to eat. If he does, he just needs to take the watch out first. Without resistance, the boy obeys. Omar then walks with him to return the watch. Along the way, they talk for a long time. The boy introduces himself as Moko. Since his parents divorced and moved away, he has been living on the streets. When Omar offers him a place at Casa Hogar, Moko refuses. He says he prefers to live on his own. When they reach the dock, they meet the watch's owner, Captain Wade, a professional fisherman with a rough personality. The moment he sees Moko, he angrily chases him away. It would have been fine if it was just the watch, but the boy had also peed in his coffee and even drank it afterward. Omar is shocked. In the middle of the chaos, he realizes that Moko has already disappeared. Later that evening, Omar hears a report on the radio about a massive storm approaching. It could become the biggest storm Mexico has seen in 10 years. He immediately asks the children to close all the windows. That night, Omar and Becca gather the children together. Even though they live with very little, they love the kids deeply and treat them like family. This is where their journey begins. This is Blue Miracle. The next morning, Omar wakes up to find the house already flooded. Without wasting time, he gathers Tweety and 3 other boys named Hollywood, Wiki, and Geeko, then heads to a friend's place to borrow a water pump. Just as they are about to leave, Tweety tells him there is a phone call. When Omar answers, it turns out to be the bank demanding payment. If the debt is not settled soon, the orphanage will be taken away. Omar grows even more overwhelmed when he arrives at his friend Wayne's place. He opens up about the flooding and the debt weighing on him. Wayne is the organizer of the biggest fishing tournament in the world. He and his wife are also donors who often help the orphanage. Sadly, this time, they cannot help financially. Wayne is busy preparing because the tournament begins the next day. While there, Omar notices Captain Wade arriving to register. Since Wade is American, Wayne explains that there is a new rule this year. Foreigners must pay a fee while Mexican citizens can join for free. Wade becomes irritated. He has lived in Mexico for over 20 years and has even won this tournament twice in a row. Wayne then invites Wade to speak privately in his office. After calming down, Wade admits that he is actually out of money. That is when Wayne gets an idea. If Wade wants to join for free, he must form a team with Mexican citizens. What if he teams up with Casa Hogar? Hearing this, Wade falls silent. Back at the orphanage, Tweety asks Omar to help nail the wish letter he just wrote. Just as the letter is finished, Wade arrives. Without hesitation, he says that Omar must join the tournament with him the next day. The older kids from the orphanage can come too, but not the younger ones. If they win, the prize money will be split in half. Before Omar can respond, Wade leaves. Suddenly, Tweety runs off shouting in excitement. His wish has come true. His letter was about the fishing tournament. Omar is stunned by the timing. The next morning at the dock, Omar registers the team under the name Casa Hogar. Afterward, he spots Moko and invites him to come fishing too. He tells him they might even catch a giant marlin. If he wants to join, he can come to Wade's boat. A few minutes later, while the team is preparing, Moko shows up asking to join and hide for a while. He has just been caught stealing and is being chased by officers. Wade, still annoyed, tries to chase him away, but after Omar keeps pleading, he finally allows Moko to stay. Along with Wade, Omar, and the children, there is also a local man who usually helps as Wade's assistant. Not long after, the biggest fishing tournament in the world officially begins, with hundreds of teams from all over the globe taking part. Using a small boat, they head out to sea, searching for the perfect spot to start fishing. Out in the middle of the sea, Moko casually grabs Wade's lucky fishing lure. Wade immediately gets upset. After the lure is thrown back into the water, Omar steps in and tries to talk to him. He knows Wade only agreed to bring them so he could enter the tournament for free. Omar says he understands but asks him to be kinder to the children. For them, this is not about winning. It feels like a small adventure, something they rarely get to experience. Children like them have so little joy in their lives, and being scolded all the time only makes things harder for them. Hearing this, Wade begins to soften. He tells the kids that when a fish bites, one of them will be allowed to pull the line. Only one child, not everyone. He chooses Moko. Hollywood immediately protests, asking why it has to be Moko. Wade explains that fishing is not random. It requires calculation and strength. For the first day, he chooses the strongest child. The others eventually understand. Hours pass and still nothing bites. Growing bored, Omar starts talking to Moko about his parents. Moko refuses to share at first, so Omar opens up about his own past. He explains that his mother died when he was still a baby, and his father passed away when he was 8. They had been fishing together when a massive wave hit their boat. Omar survived, but his father did not. Since that day, fishing has haunted him, and nightmares of that moment never left. He also spent years living alone on the streets. Compared to the other children, Omar feels his story is not the saddest. The children at the orphanage were not lost to death, but abandoned while still alive. That is why they see him as a father and call him one. He even tells Moko that he can call him that too if he wants. Moko quietly refuses, though with a gentle smile. Later in the day, the children ask Wade to share stories from his life as a professional fisherman. He shows them the scars he collected over 25 years at sea. The children stare in awe, then begin showing their own scars. Some were beaten by relatives, others by their own parents. Hearing this, Wade feels a deep ache in his chest. Suddenly, the fishing line starts to move and everyone jumps in excitement. They pull together, full of hope, only to realize it is nothing more than seaweed. Disappointment fills the air. That day, their team fails to catch a marlin. Another team manages to land a massive one, meaning that if they want to win, they will need an even bigger catch. The tournament still has 2 days left. As they prepare to head home, Moko once again refuses to return to the orphanage. On the way back, Wiki looks troubled. He admits that he already knows everything. He hopes their team can win so the orphanage can pay off its debt. He is afraid that if the orphanage is taken away, he will end up back on the streets. Omar reassures him that winning or losing does not matter. He promises to keep fighting to protect their home no matter what it takes. When they arrive back at the orphanage, one of Omar's friends comes to visit. He shows his support by bringing team uniforms for Casa Hogar. Later that night, after the children fall asleep, Omar and his friends sit together at a bar. Omar opens up about the debt weighing on his life. His friend admits he cannot help financially, but suggests that if Omar truly needs money, he could return to his old life. In the past, the two of them were gangsters, surviving through illegal work. Hearing this, Omar firmly says that chapter of his life is over. No matter how difficult things become, he refuses to live on dirty money again. To him, money like that slowly changes a person. Someone who was once kind can turn cold without realizing it. He does not want the children to grow up with a father figure like that. His friend understands and respects his choice. The next day, the second day of the tournament, begins out at sea. While Wade prepares the bait, Wiki approaches him and proudly explains that he studied fishing the night before. He recognizes the knot Wade is tying, knows the name of the lucky lure, and even understands how to pull the line properly. Wade is impressed and decides that today Wiki will be the one to handle the fishing line, with his guidance if needed. After that, Gecko asks about Wade's family. Wade explains that years ago his wife and child returned to America. He stayed behind in Mexico because he was still chasing his dream through fishing. He once won this tournament long ago, and now he wants to win one more time before finally going home to his family. The children struggle to understand this. For kids who grew up without parents, having a father around is everything. No matter how great a man may be, if he is never home, a child still feels empty. A real father is not the strongest fisherman, but the one who stays and becomes an anchor for his family. Hearing this, Wade falls silent, lost in thought. Hours pass peacefully until the fishing line suddenly moves. This time, it feels heavy. Everyone rushes to help, full of excitement. But in the chaos, Gecko and Moko start teasing each other and end up falling overboard. The sudden mess causes the marlin to break free. The lucky lure is lost as well. Wade is completely frustrated. From the beginning, he never wanted children on his boat. Now he feels fed up and decides to quit the tournament entirely. That night, back at the house, Becca speaks with teary eyes. Earlier that day, the bank came to inspect the orphanage. It may be taken away within 2 weeks. In the middle of the conversation, Tweety comes in asking for help to nail up his new wish letter. In his drawing, he shows Captain Wade and the Casa Hogar team successfully catching a giant marlin. Omar feels torn, unsure how to tell Tweety that Wade no longer wants to continue the tournament. That same night, Omar goes to Wade's boat. He tries to convince him to continue the tournament the next day, but Wade is still deeply disappointed. Omar finally speaks honestly and says that if they win, the prize money could save the orphanage. If the orphanage is taken away, the children will end up back on the streets. Still, no matter how hard Omar tries, Wade refuses. To him, fishing with children is a waste of time. His lucky lure is already gone, and from his experience, catching a marlin like that only happens once in a lifetime. Omar gives up. Before leaving, he hands over the drawing from earlier. At dawn, Omar wakes up to a call from Wade, asking him to come outside. There, Wade shows him a marlin and explains that he just bought it from a local fisherman. He says they will continue the tournament, but in a different way. The fish will be hidden under the boat so the officials do not notice. Later, they will secretly attach it to the fishing line and pretend it was just caught. The children must not find out. The fish is smaller than the one caught the day before, so it will not win first place, but it could still earn second or third, and the prize money would still be large. Hearing this plan, Omar refuses. Wade firmly tells him to stop being stubborn and focus on saving the orphanage. Omar falls silent, trapped in doubt. The next day, the third day of the tournament begins. Omar brings Tweety along since he is a huge fan of Captain Wade and talks about him all the time. Just as they start moving, the boat suddenly shuts down. Wade panics, afraid the officials will come to inspect and discover the hidden fish. Sure enough, the officials approach to offer help. Just in time, the engine starts again, and they leave without checking. Once they are far from the dock and everything feels safe, the assistant brings the children to the front of the boat to eat. Meanwhile, at the back, Wade tells Omar to hook the marlin onto the line. As Wade keeps watch, worried someone might pass by, Omar's finger gets pierced by the nail of the wish he once gave to Tweety. In that moment, Omar realizes that no matter how heavy his financial problems are, cheating is still wrong. Maybe he is not like Tweety or the other children who still believe in miracles. For adults, miracles often seem illogical. Everything has to make sense, but that does not mean adults should stop praying. With a steady heart, Omar surrenders the fate of the orphanage and decides to throw the marlin back into the sea. When the fish hits the water, Wade becomes furious and nearly explodes in anger. But when Moko suddenly appears, he forces himself to stay silent. Now, all the Casa Hogar team can do is wait and hope for a miracle. Hours pass with no sign of a catch. Feeling that all hope is gone, Omar finally stands up and gives his thanks. He thanks Captain Wade for trying to help. Even though their team is losing, he is grateful that the children were able to experience the joy of being out at sea. Omar also apologizes to the kids, especially to Tweety. He explains that sometimes hopes do not always come true. Reality can betray effort, but no matter what happens, they will always remain a family. Seeing how heartbroken everyone looks, Wade asks his assistant to take the children to fish for small fish near the front of the boat, hoping to lift their spirits. Meanwhile, as Omar stands alone in deep thought, the fishing line suddenly moves. This time, Omar is chosen to pull it in, and everyone senses that this catch might be something big.
No. Hey, put around. I'm going to talk you through this. You got a visual? Got him. Chato, call him in.
Yes, sir.
In the middle of the tension, Wade tells his assistant to contact Wayne and report that they have hooked a massive marlin. The news spreads quickly. Wayne and the media are stunned, and officials rush toward Wade's location. The story of the Casa Hogar team begins broadcasting live on television. Nearly an hour passes as Omar continues to struggle, pulling and resisting with all his strength against the powerful marlin. Memories of his painful childhood resurface, but he keeps going. Wade encourages him to fight for the children. Everyone on the boat cheers him on, along with people watching from their homes. With one final surge of strength, Omar succeeds. The Casa Hogar team finally lands the giant marlin. The crowd is in awe.
And in the final hour, and absolutely...
Thanks to that catch, they win first place and become champions of the world's biggest fishing tournament. As the organizer, Wayne proudly announces that Omar is the first Mexican to ever win the competition. That night, during the celebration, Wade and Omar congratulate each other on stage. Wade shares that he can finally return to America with peace in his heart. He decides to retire from fishing and become a steady presence for his family. Hearing this, Omar feels truly happy for him. Not long after, the prize money is handed to the Casa Hogar team. And in that moment, their joy feels complete. So the moral of the story is that real love means choosing honesty and sacrifice over easy wins, because family is built by staying when everything else falls apart.